Actually, in the last 4 decades, the percutaneous coronary intervention has made a lot of progresses in terms of outcomes and safety for our patients. And initially, all we had was just, let's say, permanent polymer DES. I mean, starting from the first generation, second generation. But the last iteration of the current generation DES is the bioresorbable polymer. And actually, the unmet clinical need, the so-called unmet clinical need, was the need to reduce the inflammation coming from permanent polymer. So in other words, a lot of companies tried to address this issue, actually creating new polymers based basically on PLLA in order to reduce this issue. I mean, the issue of inflammation has been linked in terms of clinical events to late stent thrombosis, but also to higher rate of in-stent stenosis. And I have to say that, actually looking at the literature, what we have seen today is that there are signals showing that there is a possible advantage of bioresorbable polymers, but I have to say we're still waiting for conclusive evidence, because at the moment, and also if you look at the guidelines, we don't have a clear-cut information supporting the use of bioresorbable instead of permanent polymers. They are doing very well, I have to say, but I cannot say they are performing better than current generation DES. The current generation is probably the number 3 or number 4, we don't know that, because according to several iterations coming from different companies, we have a lot of options today. But definitely, and generally speaking, the truth is that either using a bioresorbable polymer or a permanent polymer DES, it should be based on a day-by-case situation. And again, generally speaking, we don't have enough evidence supporting the use of bioresorbable or permanent polymer. Well, we did a lot of progresses in the last years, and I have to say that the majority of the trials trying to assess this issue, they are actually showing that there is, in terms of very long-term follow-up, an advantage, as I said before, in terms of state thrombosis and also in stent stenosis, generally speaking, the stent failure. But what is happening now is that we are looking at very long-term, and long-term means beyond 5 years. And so far, I have to say so good, because the primary hypothesis of a safer profile of bioresorbable polymer has been confirmed. However, still is not conclusive, because this evidence comes from just one trial, maybe 2 trials, and I have to say this is not enough to reach the guidelines level. So again, it's still based on a day-by-day case, and I will probably see in the next future the need for probably sized randomized control trials with longer follow-up, addressing one device with bioresorbable polymer against the same device but with permanent polymer, and this is something lacking at the moment.